things after school.
So she wasn't full time.
She was full time.
No, she wasn't. Your mom failed you. That's why you're on this podcast.
Wait, what do you guys think 5, 6, 7-year-old kids do after school? I want to hear that. I'm so fucking curious right now.
But that's
play what? Video games? Watch TV?
What about the men who can't
play? So what's the difference between playing outside with other kids and going to daycare?
Hang on. That's a total diversion from what we're talking about.
It's literally not. We're literally talking about after school extended care or daycare.
Because here's the fundamental point, which I keep trying to make, but for whatever reason, it's just like flying over everybody's head. If the mother is working, this is time away from her being a mother. It's less hours with the child. We all, I mean, and you can say, wait, hang on. And you can say, oh, well, so what? You can say that. So what? The kid is playing fucking soccer or whatever. You can say that. But those are hours that a mother literally cannot be there for the kid because they're at work.
Sure. So you're saying when a kid is 5, 6, 7 years old, it's more important for the kid to go home and be with his mom than to play with other kids after school?
I think it's essential for the mother to be there for the kids all day.
I'm gonna keep that. Okay, let me ask one more time.
Wait. I want to hear that one more time. So for 5 years and older, you think it's more important for that kid to go home and be with his mom than it is for them to play with other kids after school?
I think it's less important 5 years and up, but if you're talking about K through 5 or 0 to 5 years old, what woman could
one is talking 0 to 5.
Yeah, that is what I talked about.
So then you should very easily answer my question and say, no, Destiny, when they hit 5, when they're going to school, it's probably better for them to play with kids after school than going with their mom.
What I said initially is that from 0 to 5, these are critical years. I said the first 3 months are essential. 0 to 5 is critical. And a woman can't take 5 years off of a full-time job to be there for a kid. So a daycare worker or somebody is going to have to step in. And this is what I'm talking about, priorities.
You still haven't answered my question. It's so simple.
You don't answer my stupid question. You don't answer my stupid logical fallacy diversion.
It's not a logical argument. It's such a simple question.
I'm constructing an argument.
Maybe I can ask the women if you don't understand.
I'm constructing an argument. Why would I ask someone that's inferior intelligence to me a question?
Inferior intelligence.
Let me jump in.
25-year-old virgin.
Let me jump in. 24-year-old virgin. That's what God calls us to do. You're a 34-year-old cuck.
You're only virgin because anal sex. You're only a virgin because getting fucked in the ass doesn't count to you for losing virginity.
You're talking about hooking up with guys on Grindr yesterday with sneakers. You're not doing that one.
What was the question again?
The question is, if the kid is 5 years and older, they're going to school, whenever they start kindergarten, first grade, is it better for them right after school to go home and be with mom or to play with other kids for an hour or two at like extended care?
But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about...
answer the question?
But this is what you do. You ask a stupid... And then he throws his head up and laughs.
Yeah, you can keep pointing it up.
I'm incapable of having an adult conversation.
You know that the question defeats your entire fucking worldview.
And I'm about to explain. You have to keep interrupting me.
You're a kid that went to school with no fucking friends. You're a fucking homo. You're a virgin. We've all seen the pictures, Nick. Like, there's a reason why you can't engage with the question. Sorry,
the personal attacks don't work.
The part after you screamed at me, cuck over and over again.
That's what you are.
That's what you gotta remember that she asked. He's formulating his argument based off from 0 to 5, and then he'll answer your question after.
Well, no, but I'm rejecting the premise because the questions don't exist after 5. And then he has to interrupt whenever I try to attempt to make my argument.
Go ahead.
I'm rejecting the premise because the question is not what's better for kids, hanging out with their friends or being with their mom. The premise is this. And then he's on the phone, dismissive. He's looking at chat for rebuttals. I love that. He's always looking at chat for the rebuttals.
It's always the rambling with you. You're like a shitty preacher.
It's not rambling. I was
going to say
somebody's constructing an argument.
Let him finish his point.
This is why your own community said you lost the debate on Fridays because you resort to these cheap tactics, false dichotomies. You check your chat.
You love me so much. You're posting pictures on your Telegram of me.
Yeah, because you were cramming for another debate. You were cramming for another debate, literally in the lobby.
24-year-old virgin on a red pill podcast.
I wish I was 3 feet tall, blue hair, and a wife that fucks other guys. I know. Every guy's dream. Right. Anyway, so I reject the premise. Yeah. I reject the premise because it's not a question of this is what you do. You always steer into a stupid question. The question is, if a woman is working a full-time job, it's not whether it's better for the kid to be with the mom or with the kids. The mom's not an option. Mom's off the fucking table because she's at work. So if the kid's sick, if the kid gets injured, if there's something that's going on, if she's got to take them somewhere, oh, sorry, honey, I'm working that day. Sorry, honey, I'm scheduled to come in that day. It's off the table. That's what I'm getting at. And she doesn't like it because it makes her uncomfortable.
No, I'll tell you why, because you steered away from my answer. My answer was about working mums. Some women have to work. There's not many.
I know that.
There is not many families that can afford to buy a house in Australia without 2 incomes. So if you can't earn enough, then the woman steps in. Or at the end of the day, we don't all get given jobs that make millions. the world won't work. The world's not going to revolve like that.
I
Reality is. So you steered away from that, and then you made fun of women that have to give their kids up.
I didn't make fun.
Well, you kind of said it was wrong.
I think it's wrong. I didn't make fun of it.
But what about if we have to do that?
And let me answer that. Let me answer that directly. You're telling me something that's not unfamiliar to me, okay? Both my mom and my father lost their fathers at a very early age, before they turned 10 years old. So both my father and mother were raised by single moms. Both were widows. And so I understand out of necessity, sometimes a single mother has to be there. And I love both my grandmothers. They're very tough. They're very smart.
But those kids are less because they're not with their mom all the time.
No, of course. I'm saying my parents are less. Of course, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're less. Sometimes it's out of necessity. But we're not talking about necessity. We're not talking about circumstance. We're saying what is right. We're saying what should be encouraged. It's not diverted. Some women have to do that. I also think, by the way, that, I don't want to get into your personal life, but some situations, the husband dies. That's not most situations for single mothers, if we're being totally honest. Most single mothers, it's not because the husband dies tragically at a young age in an unforeseen circumstance.
Picked the wrong guy.
It's elective. And so it's really about what decisions are people making. And I think it's a better decision. I think it is ideal for the mother to choose full-time motherhood. I think it's better for the kids. I think the mother prefers that. I think it's probably, I mean, I'm not a girl, but if I were a girl, I would much rather be at home hanging out with the kids than I would going to, driving on my commute and clocking in and typing up a spreadsheet or, whatever it is. That's all I'm saying.